What is up? We are popping off with some Hunter x Hunter action today.
Yeah, pretty popular anime. One that I watched actually more recently. Yeah, I think it's a great anime, and we're gonna just kind of basically what we're planning is we're gonna go through each of the arcs and talk about our favorite characters, and we're gonna rank the characters in that specific arc and like based off what they did in that arc. And so we're gonna start off first with the Hunter exam, right? And these are the
Yeah,
characters we have.
yeah. I mean, there's so many good characters in Hunter x Hunter that
Yeah,
we can't just do it in one. Uh,
yeah.
like the Phantom Troop alone, like deserves its own video. So
Yeah, we initially were like, oh, let's just do like a Hunter x Hunter episode. And then we sat down and we started like thinking of the different characters and we're like, damn, like there's like so many of them and there's just so much to say across the whole anime. So we decided
yeah.
this would be the best way to do it.
And in each arc, we're going to be talking about the characters in that arc. So, for example, we're ranking Netero here,
Mhm.
but we're only going to really think about what Netero is doing in the Hunter exam arc, not what happens later,
Yeah.
obviously. So cool. Uh, so first up, uh, let's start here actually.
Yeah, let's on the side.
Um, first up is Tompa.
Yes.
Uh, Tompa is the rookie crusher or the freshman crusher, something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah.
Noob crusher maybe, and he he's kind of a thorn in the side to the main characters. You could consider him like a secondary antagonist maybe,
Yeah.
but he's the least intimidating secondary antagonist on Earth.
Yeah, by far.
Uh, he is literal like the most powerful thing he did was try to make people shit.
Yeah.
Um,
He literally just gave people laxatives. That's like the most
yeah,
notable thing.
yeah. Um, so yeah, I like Tompa's character, but I don't know. He was just kind of annoying. Like there's like some drama between him and Leorio,
Yeah.
and they're both goons for that. Leorio is a goon for stepping down to Tompa's level.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
yeah, and for that, I think Tompa's like a C.
Yeah, Tompa's he's not like I mean, he is a bad character, but he's not like I'm not mad that he's in the show because I feel like he definitely adds something to it. Otherwise like the Hunter arc would have been like or the exam arc, the Hunter's exam arc would have been like a little bit more boring, but Tompa at least adds like some kind of like humor, I guess. But yeah, again, he's
Yeah,
just kind of annoying to the other hunters, or the people taking the exam at least. But yeah, she's fine.
cool. Um, Next up, we've got Paco,
Oh yeah, whatever his name is.
the archer hunter. I mean, he passes the exam, but
Yeah.
beyond that, he doesn't really do much. I mean, he's got a cool design. He's an archer,
Hmm.
which I think he's the only one in the series. Uh,
I think so.
but I didn't find him that compelling. I feel like he's like below Tompa even.
Yeah, I would put him below Tompa. I don't remember him doing much in this arc or in any other arcs really. Like he showed up every now and then. I think the only thing was like afterwards he talked to them about how there's like a whole like a database that hunters can access,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really all I remember him doing. And like yeah, he passed the test, so we just felt like we should include him. But yeah, I think below Tompa he didn't do anything.
D or D?
I think let's put him D.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
D deserves it.
yeah,
Uh, uh, Next is Hisoka.
yes.
Um, Hisoka is, I mean, obviously a character that stays in the show for like a long time. And I think probably one that deserves a pretty high ranking for this arc, even.
Mhm.
He totally sets the bar of like what a powerful hunter is. We get that there's like even scales to these things because uh, from the get go, he like threatens to kill the first examiner. Uh, and we're like, oh, dang, okay, this guy's powerful. And then it makes it so satisfying when Gon is able to take the tag from Hisoka.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I think Hisoka is a great character in this arc.
Yeah, I think Hisoka was really great. I think what I really liked about him was the fact that like we didn't know anything about him. Like there was just like this ominous, like scary kind of villain. We don't really know yet. Like he was just kind of a bad guy, really. But
Mm-hmm.
that whole like mystery around him made it really interesting. And yeah, I think he did that. Didn't he actually kill one of the like examies?
He kills one of the examinees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, he's pretty badass. I think S definitely. He was a great character. One of the
yeah.
ones that stood out the most for me in the first arc.
hmm Um, Next would be Netero,
Yeah.
uh, the chairman of the Hunter Association.
hmm
Uh, I think Netero doesn't do a ton in this arc, but he does give little glimpses into being kind of a crazy guy.
Yeah.
Uh, he plays that game with Gon and Killua,
Mhm.
where if they get the ball, then they're able to pass the Hunter exam, but they obviously don't. And yeah, I think he served a great role as the kind of kooky leader of the Hunters to show that the Hunters aren't all business, um, and that they're like vibrant personalities that run the Hunters. Even I think like A.
Yeah, I would agree. I think what's cool about them showing Netero in the first arc was that you could really see like the giant gap between like Gon and like Netero. You know, like you have like this character who's like taking the exam, doesn't really know much, just kind of there to like learn, very like entry level character. And then you have like the like top guy, like the one that you want to be. And like just seeing that strength gap was something really cool that I think that it benefited the arc a lot.
Mm-hmm. And even Hisoka threatens Netero when they're like asking who Hisoka would like to fight, and Netero like shows that he doesn't even care, and it's
Yeah.
like, dang, okay, Hisoka was already like supposed to be super powerful. Is like Netero even more powerful? Which I mean, it's later confirmed. Like, yeah, Netero would have totally stomped Hisoka in that moment.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. Next would be I'm forgetting the name here, but uh, the gourmet huntress, I might say.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, she fails everyone in the second phase of the exam,
hmm
which is, I mean, pretty brash. I don't know. She appeared also like in the conversations amongst only the hunters when they're talking about what's going on in the exam.
hmm
She's sort of your stereotypical like brash anime lady archetype, but she's cool.
Yeah. Her name is Menchie, by the way. I just checked.
Menchie.
But yeah, yeah, Menchie. Yeah, she was. I think she also served a similar purpose to like showing like how strong hunters can be and how weak the people taking the exam are. Like, I think she was more there just to fill the gap. And that whole thing where she failed everyone was pretty like wild too. She doesn't really serve much other than that. I think we didn't really get to see too much of her character. I would yeah put her like high C maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
cool.
Here we're getting to who I think is a great character, Leorio.
Mhm.
And you chose a very unflattering picture of him
It was
where
on purpose.
where he's at his worst. And I don't know how much I appreciate that because Leorio is a great character. He comes off as a capitalist, you know, straight to the core, just trying to get that dough. But you learn that his motivations are actually more tender than that. Uh, and I think he's sort of, I mean, not exactly, but sort of the audience self-insert in the show. Maybe I'm projecting here, but like he's having trouble keeping up with some of the other hunters. Like
Mhm.
he's the one who's always like, "Oh man, this is pretty hard,"
Yeah,
uh, and he gets kind of carried throughout the exam. But
definitely.
yeah, I think he was relatable while still being like a powerful and cool character. He had that weird scene where he bet it all
Oh,
on
yeah, to see some titties, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
um
think I mean personally, I really like Leorio, but I know a lot of people that don't like him. I just think that he adds like a lot of fun to the show. Like, yeah, like Gon and like, well, I guess I'd just say Gon for this arc is like a really like lighthearted, fun character. But Leorio is more like wild and like crazy, you
mhm.
know. So he adds like a lot of like character to the show, in my opinion. I think he's like definitely an A tier character. I loved him.
Yeah, I like the running gag too that he's the same age as the rest of them, or he's like a teenager.
Yeah. He's very tall compared to them. He's probably like twice the size of Gon, if you guys.
Yeah. Uh, this is what I would do. How do you feel?
I agree, yeah.
Okay, next up is Karapika. I'm going to note again that this is Karapika in the Hunter exam arc. I know that he pops off later, but
Definitely.
I think he's cool in the Hunter exam arc too. But
Yeah.
he just strikes me as sort of a one dimensional character. Like the only time he really has much to say is when that guy pretends to be part of the Phantom Troop, and
Yeah.
Karapika's like, "No, you're not."
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I honestly wasn't really feeling Karapika in the Hunter exam arc. I feel like he's a B or C.
Yeah, I agree. I think Karapika was just kind of like the like edgy, like my family's dead, you know, like just the obligatory character, you know. I think
Yeah.
that definitely later on he like definitely gets a lot better, but you know, based just on the Hunter's exam arc, I would put him maybe high C. I think high C maybe, or maybe B. I don't know.
I'm gonna piss off the Karapika stands with this one.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay. Good.
I think they deserve it.
Yeah, they do.
Cool. Killua. Killua, I think is a cool character, a great character. I personally didn't really like him as much as I ended up liking him in the Hunter exam arc, just
Yeah.
because to me he seems like he's yes, sort of like an edgy character. We know that he's like in the family of assassins, and he like rips that guy's heart out, and it's like, oh wow, I guess this
Yeah.
guy's like a killer or something, but he's also a kid.
Mhm.
Um, but beyond that, all he does is like, I don't know, like Gon, uh,
Yeah.
and like he's the most powerful of the four, at least in this arc.
Mhm.
And he shows that off a few times, which was cool. Like I liked the scenes where he just totally outclasses people. Like when they're in the forest, I think those three buffoons are following him, and he's like,
Yeah.
"I know each of you, you idiots," and like just totally destroys them. Uh, Definitely higher than Krapika, but I don't think as high as Leorio.
I think we should put him in B. I love Killua. Let me start off by saying that. And even like when I first saw him like pull up on a skateboard at like the very like the first few episodes, I was like, all right, this character is gonna be really cool. Like I'm really gonna like this character. But if I'm only looking at like the Hunter's exam arc, he didn't really do anything like amazing for the show. He was just a cool character, and so I don't really feel like he deserves anything higher than a B for this arc
Yeah.
specifically. I want to say that again. So yeah, I think B is fine for Killua.
Next would be Gitaracker or Illumi in disguise, Kilo's brother. Uh, I think this was a really cool reveal
Yeah.
because Killua seemed like such a one-dimensional character. Uh, and then, yeah, I think Illumi's appearance makes Killua's whole appearance in this arc so much better.
Mhm.
Um, because yeah, we know that so we get this vibe early on that Hisoka and Illumi are like these super powerful people, because they
Mhm.
like they roll together, and so we're just intimidated by both of them, and then when Gitaraker in front of Killua and
Uh-huh.
shows that he's Illumi, uh, yeah, I think it was like probably the like one of the coolest moments in the arc. Maybe the most like emotionally interesting moment in the arc.
Yeah, I would
Uh,
agree. It was a pretty big reveal, and I remember just being like, "What?" I
yeah,
There's one specific scene where I remember him where he's just like under like ground, like he's buried, and just his head is sticking out. I don't know.
yeah,
I would mention he's a cool character. I think I would honestly put him higher than Killua, to be honest, just because that was like a really cool scene. And again, he's like a Hisoka type character where he's like kind of like mysterious and powerful. So yeah, I think where you have him now is good. Illumi
yeah.
was cool in the first arc, or Gitaraku, or whatever his name is.
Next up would be Hanzo. Um, Hanzo was like I think one of the examinees that seemed like pretty cool throughout the arc.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just seemed like a cool character. And then I think the fight with Gon is like super iconic.
That was iconic.
right? Where he's just like busting his arm. Um, and beyond that, though, I mean, Hanzo didn't do too much throughout this arc.
Yeah.
Like, I would say somewhere between Killua and Tompa is where I would place him.
I would probably put him leading the C or ending the B. I think his character design is really cool, and I like initially gravitated a lot towards that. And just that fight with Gon was really like sick. Like basically like him just be like, all right, you know what, I gotta give up because Gon was like being too stubborn and he just didn't want to like beat up this kid anymore. So yeah, I think actually let's put him at the end of B. I think he deserves a B status. Yeah, he was pretty cool.
Yeah. Then finally, Gon, main
Yes.
character. A great character. I think uh, there are certain arcs where I'm not a huge fan of Gon and like his actions, but like I think I hesitated to call the Illumi moment with Kilo my favorite because I think the best moment in this arc is when Gon steals the tag from Hisoka um, in the forest. Like I don't know, I feel like that just goes so hard. I mean, that and the fight with Hanzo are just some of the best moments in the arc, and they're
Mhm.
both like centered around different aspects of Gon. Um, yeah, I think he's like S, at or if not above Hisoka.
I would I would personally put him below Hisoka. I liked Gon a lot, and yeah, that scene was really cool with him fighting Hisoka. But correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Hisoka end up beating him at the end, but he lets him keep the card thing?
Well, so Gon steals it, and then some other dude who's been stalking Gon
Oh,
knocks out
that's
Gon,
right. That's
and
right.
then Hisoka comes and bonks that
Yeah.
guy and gives him back the tag.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, and we get that great scene where Hisoka's like, "You can give this back to me when you can punch me in the face."
That's right. Yeah, and then that shows up later on. But yeah, yeah, I think Gon's character was really cool. I think his drive was really like it was really cool. And the fight with Hanzo really highlighted that the way like he was like his body was getting like completely obliterated. He was still like being stubborn. And I think that kind of sets the tone for like the show and shows like how Gon's gonna be and like really without a shadow of a doubt tells you like what type of character he is. And I like that personally.
Yeah. Um, I don't think anyone's at their best in this arc, you know, except for the ones who only appear in this arc. But
Maybe Hanzo, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah. Do you have any rearrangements?
I think this is pretty good. I think for the first arc, there isn't really too much crazy stuff to talk about. I think we'll get into more cool stuff later on. But yeah, I think for the Hunter's exam arc, this is a good ranking.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll catch you guys next week with the door opening arc or
Yeah, the door opening slash like Zoldyck family
Hanzo.
plus the Heavens Arena,
Yes.
lumping it into one because they're both kind of short.
Yeah. And
Uh,
we're also gonna start pumping these out more quickly just because there's like what like 5 or 6 hunter ones and
mm,
then we'll see what we do afterwards but yeah um like subscribe we'll see you guys in a few days probably